might be for this time, you can share your project.
Okay. You're okay if I move the screen over now?
Yes, I think they are good now. Yes, you can go ahead.
Hey, okay, cool. Okay, hey guys, this is awesome. Let me just start by saying that, like, I can't believe Creality invited me to do this. I hope everybody can, like I said, hear me through this. I figured this would be easier so there's no reverberation back through the speakers. And I wanted to start off by saying, like, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Creality, for even having me. This has been so cool to do all of this. And I kind of wanted to talk about just the little errors I've had, things I've kind of learned throughout the project. I didn't really get into 3D printing to get into 3D printing. I got into it as a means to an end to make make the suit, to make something. So I kind of had to learn a lot quick with this, which I think I got a lot of reception to. I didn't start with little figurines. I think the smallest thing I printed was a benchy, and then I started printing my first helmet right away, just trying to dive into it, and I was so underprepared for that. So it was really cool just learning and doing a lot of the research and trying to get, you can see behind me, I have both of my printers set up right there. They're both CR10S printers. They've been absolute workhorses, and for a while there, I had them running basically 24/7 for about 30, 40 days, just pumping out parts for the suit. Let's see. I can start with this atrocity right here. So this was actually the first helmet I tried to make with this whole project, and it just, as you can see, it doesn't look good at all. It was just an absolute train wreck of a part. It was already kind of sliced apart from Thingiverse. I think this is the Mark 6 helmet. I think it was that free suit file that's on Thingiverse, and it was already sliced apart for like an Ender 3. And I just started printing parts. I thought, hey, I could just fill it all with Bondo. And if there's one thing the biggest thing I learned is just take your time with your prints. I just tried to rush this and get the pieces out, and I spent so much time just getting this mask smooth. It took me longer to get this mask smooth than it did to do an entire helmet that I can do now. Nice painted, finished eyes. So this was just an absolute nightmare to finish. Let's see. There's a couple things I wanted to talk about. Put this back over here. All right. Hi from England. So one of the biggest questions I probably get asked is, I'm sure you guys get asked it too. You see it all over the place. What are your settings? What are your settings? What are you doing? How do you get speed, layer lines, quality? Like, what are you doing for that? And honestly, I don't think you should be asking that. I'm not good at 3D printing. I'm not. I got lucky with a lot of these things. I can print these things very well. But if you ask me about a lot of the settings and like Cura and stuff, I don't know a lot of them. I kind of let Cura and Slicer just kind of do their own thing, and I tweak the little things that I need to. Yeah, there's a lot of settings that if you ask me what they were, I'd look at you like a blank stare. But what I do know is the machine, and I was talking to a friend earlier today about why a lot of people seem to have problems with 3D printing, and they'll have beautiful G code. They'll understand the program great. They'll understand 3D modeling, and they'll have, they know so much more than me, and that's great. That's good that they learn that. But then when they go to actually print the part and slice it in the program, or actually, start the printer up, their printer's not calibrated, or their printer's not set up right, and everybody says level your bed, which they're not that wrong about that. It doesn't matter how good you are with your kind of G code and slicing. If your printer isn't set up right, it's not going to compensate for that. Your G code can't fix a bad printer. So taking your time to kind of understand your printer and how it's set up, it will pay in dividends in the end. I'm a mechanic by trade, so being able to take things apart like that has just always been like a real passion and hobby of mine. So I know there's people out there, unfortunately, who are afraid to do hot end swaps, or they have a nozzle cloth and they just don't know what to do. So being afraid of the printer itself it's just going to slow you down. take it apart. It's a really simple, well, not simple. It's a really, really expensive hot glue gun. There's some belts, some motors, some wires, and a motherboard. So getting in there and kind of learning the printer itself will just help you so much in the end. This way, if something's acting weird or you're getting a clog or your print's coming out weird, you know where to look. You know why you had a layer shift because one of your belts skipped. You know, you'll just be able to kind of approach it more pragmatically and understand what's going wrong with it. So that rant's over. Sorry about that. Let's see. Hello from Italy. Hi, Tom Wiries. Wiries, I'm saying that wrong. And no, I didn't print it on an Ender 3. Hairspray, tons of hairspray. I will actually bet. Let's talk bed diffusion real fast. Hold on one second. Whew, there we go. Thank you for listening to me rant. So when I got the printer, I couldn't get the glass to work. This is one of the glass plates from the blue CR10 that I bought brand new. I couldn't get bed adhesion. It was just kicking. It was kicking me, and so I started researching other like adhesion solutions because the glass wasn't working. There's old hairspray on this. You know, it's all messed up. I think there's a worries. All right, cool. I said that right. So I found this. It's a magnetic flex bed. It's not the real solid metal ones that people use that are real tough to bend. This is just a simple Amazon flex bed, and I wash this thing maybe once a week, and all my prints stick to it. I don't I don't do anything else with this. I heat it up, I wash it with soap and water, put it back on, and it prints. And I printed my whole suit on 2 of these, and I've never changed them out. They've been great. I also utilize rafts and tree supports, which helps a lot. Rafts help a lot with getting like a big tall part to stick and stay balanced on the sheet. So we can throw that back there. So just because like you're having problems in one area doesn't really look for alternate solutions. If the hairspray method's not working for you, maybe there's a different solution. It didn't work for me, but I know there's some people that are absolutely just that they swear by it. Hairspray, hairspray, hairspray. Some people use glue sticks. Some people use tape. This worked for me. A very good example of problems people run into with this hobby. These are the exact same printers. They're both CR10Ss, and they print. I can give them both the same G code, slice the same part, SD card, print, and they will print 2 very different pieces. And I've tried to calibrate them. I've tried to flash them, update them, and this one still always prints a little bit thicker than that one, and they're the same printer. So sometimes it's just different, and you got to figure out what works for you. Let's see. I have considered using. I think my next project, I'm going to start messing around with PETG. It's stronger, and I want to start looking into maybe upgrading to that. I did PLA because this was my first 3D print project and big, big adventure. And it was cheap. I've been using Sunlu PLA Plus, and it's absolutely incredible. How much filament did I burn through? About they're all stacked over there. About 14 to 15 rolls. Yeah. So about 14 to 15 rolls of PLA Plus. However, that's everything though. That's failed prints. That's failed prints. That's rafts. That's supports. That's actually 6 helmets I've made, different sized helmets that I've sold. So I had last time I weighed the suit, it was about 22 pounds, maybe 10 to 11 kilograms. So that's how much weight actually made it into the suit itself. So if I reprinted it all perfectly, somehow with no supports and no rafts, then yeah, like 10 or 11 rolls. So about the $200 range. I'm not sure how hot the bed can get before it demagnetizes. I run my bed at 50 Celsius, and they're still magnetic just fine. Maybe there's a limit. I think things need to get pretty hot before they start before they start magnetizing. Yeah, these steps are all the same. I've even swapped the control boxes over because they're the same printer, and they'll still print the yellow one still prints thicker. I always have to dial back the flow rate. Maybe the hot ends is working a little bit extra. I don't know, but I've gotten used to it, so I know I know how to compensate for both of those issues that I might run into. Yeah, 28 pounds. So electric bill, that's funny that you would say that. My electric bill has barely gone up. 80 degrees will kill a magnet. All right, cool. We have a temperature. I have a little smart meter. It looks like a cell phone thing that sits near my back door, and it tells me how much electricity I'm using every 10 seconds. So I can have both my printers running, and my electricity bill only goes up a couple cents an hour. It really doesn't use a lot at all. So it's absolutely great.
Can I see your project?
I'm sorry?
Can I see your Ironman? Do you have the Ironman here right now?
I have parts of it. I actually got some parts sent around.
So you cannot, so you have to put in your body for pieces, right? It's not a whole pieces.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
So I set up a couple little parts to show and display because I don't know. This isn't. I'd like to real quick say that this isn't the only 3D printed Ironman out there. This is just my favorite because it's the one I'm making. So I'm gonna turn this off real fast. Make it a little darker in here.
Oh, that's the light, the LED light, right?
Yes. Yep. So it's the whole chest piece that sits right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Oh, nice. so you need to fix your size. So you need to do the adjustment for the STL.
Yes. Yes and no. That's probably another question I get asked a lot. How did I size it to my body? And I didn't. I printed everything 100%, and I've made everything fit me. I've trimmed some things because when you start scaling to your body, it can get kind of complicated. It can kind of start messing things up, and then you have weird proportions. So I printed everything at normal size, and I've kind of made myself fit into the suit. So that's helped a lot.
Okay, but your armor is in pieces. How can they be very strong to fix together, and then when you wear in your body, and then when you walk, and then because I found that a lot of people they print that, and then to go to the cosplay, is that not drop down?
Yes. So what can happen is the way I have it, at least, is there we go. We got some googly eye Iron Man back there. It's buckles and straps. It's all held on by buckles and straps. So the back part is I can grab it. Hold on. Hi, folks. Sorry. I'm going to talk about post-processing in a second, so please hang on. So this is it's a backpack. So this is just a backpack, basically. It hooks on.
Oh, you know what? Always I just see the fronts of the Iron Man. I never see that at the back of that. Oh, nice.
Here, let me plug it in real quick.
But I think most of people know that, but just only me, I didn't know that. Nice.
Yep. So this is a backpack, and then the chest hangs off of it, like this. And it's just, it kind of sits as like one piece. There's magnets that help it align up top, and then it sits just like that.
Oh, I see.
So everything's buckles and straps. The legs are basically suspenders. The legs get held up with straps over my chest, and so the arms just slide on. Yeah, we can do this one. And let's see, while I'm putting this on, what are asking?
Yeah, maybe. How about you put the whole one?
So we got that. Isn't this fun? So the arms just kind of slide on and stay on.
Cool.
And then I put a little trigger in the wrist so it works. So if you can get pretty creative with what you add into this and how what you want to do with it. I'm obviously just making a suit where you can do anything with this. There's so many different people doing so many different things with this hobby. It's incredible. And it's been so cool meeting all those people and like getting to talk to them about it.
Wow.
So somebody just asked about post-processing, and that's probably another question I get a lot, is how I get everything so smooth. And that's an important one too. So here, let me pop this off real fast because you can see just how smooth this is. You could actually see my reflection from the computer in it.
Yeah, it's so smooth.
So this is my dirty little secret right here. Yeah, I have a red morph suit that I'm going to wear underneath it, and it'll hide any skin that shows. I actually had that on the wrong arm, the bicep. I had the right bicep on the left one. So for anybody who wants to work with PLA, I think this works with ABS. So this is a palm sander, and it's dusty. It's a dual orbital palm sander, and it not only does it spin around like this, like it actually one action, the pad rotates also like that, dual action. And this is what I used to sand. I sanded the entire suit in about a day. I didn't spend weeks. Everyone's, oh my God, like you must have spent so long sanding. It must have been a nightmare. Your hands must be killing you. I didn't feel like dealing with all that. I got dust everywhere. Oh my God.
You know what? I'm still thinking use the sanding paper.
I do. I have sandpaper, which for like little spots, you can't sand everything like this. I have a couple of tools too that I use for, let's see. So if you guys, like really, the biggest thing I've noticed about this whole hobby is people need to experiment more. Yeah, spray primer. That's what everybody says. They say go to spray primer, do spray primer, but it's just I think it's expensive. For the cost of 2 cans of spray primer, I bought that sander, and the sander never runs out. I just have to get sandpaper for it, but the pads last a pretty good amount. So it lets you smooth things off. I use about 80 grit on the palm sander, and that gets everything, not all it erases layer lines. It's absolutely amazing. I wish I had like a before and after to show you. Like I should have. What I want to do is like half a mask and kind of have like finish and paint half one, and this way I can have a helmet that like you could see. But it helps me knock everything down, especially the big parts like the thighs and the back. It's just. Let's see. Let's leave this here so people can kind of. Hey. So yeah, I'll use the sander, just kind of knock everything down. And yeah, some spots maybe spray it with like a little bit of primer, but I haven't used any filler primer on any of this suit, and it's just saved me money. And then what you can do is you can go to the hardware store or you can go to a dollar store and you can get these cool little files. They're just metal files, and I'll use them for areas that are kind of hard to reach, like in the eye sockets. And what you can do is you can, do the little nooks and crannies of the parts, like actually hit the lines and stuff. This is a tool that more people, the STL file for the suit is on do3d.com. It's a paid STL file, so you got to pay them for it. So this right here, it's kind of hard to see. Yeah. So if you're 3D printing big parts or suit armors or big models, it's called a panel scriber. Get one of these. It's like a really bad razor blade. And what it does is, let me get a part I can do this on. What it does is it has a little edge on it, and say you have a line you want to clean up, almost like a plexiglass, exactly, a plexiglass cutter. And what it does is you pull it through lines and recesses, and it makes them deeper and cuts them out a little bit. So if you start painting and filling up spots too much, you can run this through it and make lines, add new lines back to it. I used it on the suit to actually make my own lines to add more details, because there were some spots around the waist that didn't have detail. So you use tape, you use a bunch of little tricks to actually then go and you can make your own lines in something. A lot of modelers use it, model cars and planes and Gundam models. So this is where I learned to use this, and it helps you pull dirt and gunk out of it, and it can really help you define a piece. I did it on basically the entire suit. I went back over when I was done painting and pulled a lot of the paint out of that, out of like the recesses and stuff. And you can also get really creative with this, and you can use it to cut parts in half like plexiglass. So what you do is you'll tape off a section, you'll run a thick piece of tape right here, and then you can start pulling and cutting in a nice straight line, and then you can snap the part in half, and then you have a nice straight edge, or however you want to do. I actually did that this was an old ab section of the suit that I ended up scrapping, but that's how I cut this line with a panel scriber, because the Dremel gets kind of hot and it's a little uncontrollable, but this you can take your time with, make nice cuts, and then snap it off. Let's see. I think we got hit with some more questions. It was about 150, I think. So I don't have a fully functional helmet right now. It broke. I don't know if you guys saw on one of my Instagram pictures. It's the helmet opening and closing with my fingers doing the controls. And the last take of that video, one of the hinges broke off, and then I also burnt out the motor. It's in one of my YouTube videos. So that helmet's sitting in a display case over there right now, and it's broke. So that kind of sucks. But then I have like bits and pieces of a helmet. This helmet right here with the googly eyes, and googly eyes. So this helmet I made for photo shoots. So this is gonna be the helmet for the suit, just for photo shoots, not Comic-Cons, because it's really, really tight. It fits my head like a glove. So it's held together with just magnets and snaps. So there's just these little snap magnets in there. So you can see the magnets in there. And if you guys want to bear with me for 1 second, I can show you something real fast with this that I thought was pretty nice. But I gotta take my headset off for it, so you'll hear me, but I won't be able to hear anybody. So you can probably still hear me talking, I hope. And I look like an idiot.
Oh, nice.
So it's really snug on my face.
Oh. Oh, cool. 哇，哦，下次你带一下这个来做直播吧。Ben said he will take that next time for the live.
Oh, it's cool. Oh, it's nice.
I can actually hear you guys through this.
For the live next time, Ben.
Yeah, we have ironman now.
Oh, it's become
yeah.
weird.
Oh, that's cool. That's so cool.
It's become weird. Wow.
Get that back on. Okay, cool. So I didn't think those headphones were gonna fit over the mask. Yeah, actually, right now, I got to adjust the magnets. Right now, with my jaw moving, it knocks out. It makes it fall out of these magnets. So I gotta work on that a little bit. So not too much talking, unfortunately. But if you guys are, let's see, infill. I don't use any infill. 0% infill. Infill, you don't need it for this stuff. What I mean by that is, I should actually. That was actually kind of a fun. I've never done that. And that was actually kind of a funny look. I feel like it was like a DJ or something would do that, right? It'd just be up there bumping with a mask on. So if you, I don't know if you can do it in Simplify 3D. I'm not familiar with S3D, but I know you can do it in Cura, and I want to do a tutorial on it, like evaluating infill and stuff. But what you can do is you can slice it. What you can do is you can slice the part, like slice the G code, and then go and look in the preview, and you can actually strip away the layers of the preview. You can strip away the walls, the travels, and everything, and what you can view is just the infill. And now if I was to pull up parts, like the forearm and parts of the helmet, if I was to slice that and pull that up and switch over to infill, even at 100% infill, there's none. There's barely any spots. Usually it's back here. A lot of 3D models like this that are designed as armor don't require infill because there's an inner and an outer wall and really no space in between it. It's a solid model. Now, when you start designing your own projects and, you know, brackets and braces and whatever you make, you might want infill. I think you can fill a benchy test model 100%, but why would you? These models don't need infill, so it's always it can save you time. So I think the most I ever put on one model was 5%. It wasn't much at all. And I didn't even need to. So all my models, I think I just have it at 1% anyway. So I don't know how many of you are watching for like cosplay tips. I've learned a lot of tricks very quick for all this. So it's just little purse magnets that hold all this together. The STL file is do3d, do3d.com, and they sell a lot of STL files and a lot of nerd stuff. So we'll leave that right there. It's a cool little. Oh, it's right above my name too, so that's kind of funny. Hope you guys like the new shirt. I just made it today with my logo. Gotta get that brand awareness. So these are the magnets I'm using for holding the helmet together. They're self-centering purse magnets, what you would see on like a woman's purse, and they self-align. Yep, they are so handy to have, and they hold. They're cheap. I also got my hands on. I still have to use these. I got my hands on some neodymium magnets, and these are so strong. Oh my god. Yeah, these are ridiculously strong. I think I just cracked one. Whatever. Yep. Cool. So I talked to you about infill. Let's see. Let's turn this back on. Right. Nah, actually, I think you can see me fine. Let's see. Let me Sorry, folks. Fill up with questions. Ask questions so I could answer them afterwards. There we go. N52, yeah, Mass Effect. So I think people in this hobby need to just experiment more. Don't be afraid to try things out. I started what I got my yellow printer. I'm sorry, the blue printer I got brand new. This one behind me. You can't see it anymore. So let's do that. Yeah, so I got that one back in July. Yeah, I got it in July, and I started printing the suit, I want to say in October-ish. That's when I got the file, and I really cracked into printing. I had pretty much everything printed that I needed, the most part, by like December, January, and then life gets in the way. I have a job, so I can't work on this 24/7, or else it would have been done a long time ago. Let's see. Oh, I would love to talk to you guys about remote monitoring. I love that. Measurements, though, real quick. Measurements are tricky. One great trick I learned for measurements, though. Hold on. You guys are gonna like this, I hope. So, hopefully, Raymond, Resto, you're still watching. So say you want to print a part, and you're not sure if your hand's going to fit through this, right? Because if I print this and my hand can't fit through, I know I need to scale it up, right? So what you can do is you can go into a program like Slicer, which is just great to have. Like, it is an absolutely amazing program. It's good for just cutting things apart. Cura's, I like Cura. I'm a fan of Cura. It works. It's simple. But Slicer that's it. It's a hack and saw program. What you can do is go into Slicer, cut here, and then move up a couple millimeters and cut again. And what you'll be left with is like a 3 millimeter bracelet, a plastic ring, right? Print that, and then try to get your hand through. If your hand can't get through it at all, you're going to need to size it up, right? Because it doesn't matter. My hand can obviously fit through here, right? But if it can't fit through that hole in the end, but if it goes right through, you're like, all right, cool. Then you can start getting creative with measurements. You can do some simple math to be, all right, if the ring is this wide and the model is this long, it'll fit my arm, that much. So there's so many different ways to measure things, a lot of trial and error. Some people use 3D wire printing. It's a setting in Cura, and it just does a wireframe print. That's great for sizing armor. You can download ArmorSmith. That's a program a few of my buddies use, and they swear by it. So it helps you size and scale armor to your actual body proportions. I think there's like a crazy, almost unlimited amount of measurements you can put in ArmorSmith for like your different shape and size and how you move up. But that's the trick I use for like sizing up the legs. I cut rings out of the ankles, the knees, and the tops of the thighs to see just how much it would slide up. Would my foot be able to fit through the bottom of the shin? So that helps a lot with scaling and sizing. Yes, so that was one of the big hurdles I fought with originally. So I'm going to move this a little bit. So sorry if it makes noise, and I could talk about my monitoring solutions. No problem, Raymond. You can message me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. We can talk more about it. Hopefully I can give you some more insight on it. So this is a $20 Wise camera. It's a Wi-Fi camera, and it is invaluable to this. I don't use Octoprint. I just never felt like setting it up, and it intimidates a lot of people. So I'm really not a fan of it. So you get these. They're called Wise cameras. I think they're called a Neo Smart Cam in England, and it hooks up super easy. And I printed a cute little base for it. Let's turn this back on. Get some more light in here. Cool. So what this does is it sits right here, basically where my webcam is right now, and it monitors the printers. So what I can do is I can remote watch the printers whenever I want, which is absolutely great. And I keep talking towards the computer like I don't have a microphone. So at any point I can tune in and see the printers. If I see something start to go wrong with the printers. A print gets knocked over. There's a lot of spaghetti, and I just want to like turn the printer off. I have 2 Wi-Fi sockets down there, and I can control with the app. Actually, I can probably pull them up right now. So it's probably going to be hard to see right there. So I have the blue printer and then the yellow printer. And if they're on, I just powered both printers on so I can show you guys. And it might take a second for that. Oh, there we go. Hold on. It's thinking. So now you can see both printers are on. And if you can just barely see, you can see the display screens. Now they're off. And all I did was just use the little Wi-Fi plugs. And now they're back on. So let's leave those off. Cool. So you can watch the printers. You can watch the printers go, which is great. And then you can use the Wi-Fi sockets. But a lot of people get worried about heat. A lot of people get worried about, all right, what if I don't catch something? Something catches on fire. The first thing you want to do is flash the hardware to get thermal runaway working. Google search that. Ender 3 thermal runaway, CR10S thermal runaway. Just get thermal runaway protection enabled, because if your hot end starts to get too hot compared to the thermistor, the printer itself will just turn off. It'll just kill the printer. It'll stop heating and it'll cool down. If that doesn't work, say for some reason your printer doesn't catch something heating up too much, this little Wyze Wi-Fi camera can detect a smoke alarm. So I have a smoke alarm set right above the printers, right there. Cool. So if this detects that there's a smoke alarm going off, it'll send me a text, a push notification, and an email saying, "Hey, we detected a smoke alarm noise." Then I can monitor it, turn the printers off. It's hard to see this little sensor right here. Where is it? Right there. That little sensor right there, actually, it's a thermometer that runs to that, which runs to some plugs. And if that thermometer gets over 120 degrees in the room, it kills power to both printers, no matter what I do. If that hits 120, it's off. It's a relay heater for beer brewing, for craft brewing. And if anybody's actually interested in that, message me. That's a whole other, very simple to set up. But if the room gets over 120 degrees Fahrenheit, which really isn't that hot, but you don't want the room that hot anyway, it'll kill power to both printers. If that doesn't work, if for some reason all that fails, the thermal runaway doesn't work, I don't catch it in time, I don't kill the printers, that melts, I don't know why that wouldn't work. This is a last resort. It's a fire extinguisher ball, and if this gets over actually it says it on it, 70 degrees Celsius for over 5 seconds, this explodes, and it'll fire extinguish the entire room. It'll probably ruin a lot of my stuff, but my house won't burn down, and I have dogs, so that's all I care about, just my dogs. I don't care if this whole place burns down. So this is my absolute last resort. The farthest any of this has ever gotten is one of my printers had a thermal runaway because one of the fans died, and that's it. I've tested all the systems. I've turned both printers on, and if I hold a lighter up to that sensor, it kills power. I've had prints going while I've traveled like to France before. I think is the farthest I went while somebody was at my house, and I could watch the printers from there. So as long as you have Wi-Fi, you can control them. So I just made a little stand right here to kind of hold the ball as close to the printers as possible. So I have this whole complicated fire solution system, but realistically it was 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, about $90, $90 to $100 for all of that. And I don't worry about my printers running while I'm at home. Because when you do a 2.5 day print for a part, you want to be able to leave it while you're not home. Yeah, safety is that is key. I trust my dishwasher less than I trust these things. Sorry. Yeah, Raymond, definitely. home smoke kit and automation, so it shuts off at the home. Yep, exactly. It's great. Hey, thank you, Jason Alexander McKinley. You have a really long name. I skipped over a question before about spray painting. Everything you've seen on my channel and everything I showed you is it's all Rust-Oleum spray paint. I used to build Gundam models, so I got really good at spray painting. A lot of people airbrush them. I don't. I just like spray painting. I've always been good at it, and it's never limited me with what I could and couldn't do. So it's helped a lot with little tips, techniques. The way I sand, though, that's what really helps. There's a saying in body work, like automotive car paint work, that your prep stage is your most important stage. If you don't take your time to sand everything down properly and get a good smooth base, it doesn't matter how good your paint is, you're still going to see the blemishes, you're still going to see the mistakes and the errors in the paint itself. Hold on, I got to add back in. There we go. Hi, welcome back.
Oh yeah, you know I'm back.
So yeah, I've been meaning to make a video about my hardware. I have a software video, and I actually mentioned, hey, go check out the other hardware video, but I never made it. I just kind of forgot. So sorry about that. I will get to that, I promise. And then I'll talk about the whole system I have set up, because I trust it. Anyway, so the more time you take prepping a part before you paint it, it's going to be your results. If there's layer lines before you paint, there's typically going to be layer lines after you paint, unless you're dumping filler primer on it. Blemishes and marks. I actually rushed on this faceplate right here, and not that anybody would probably ever notice except me, but there is, let's see if I can get a good, right there. There's actually, it's where the Z seam was. I didn't fill it properly and sand it properly. So there's a couple little blemishes right here that I notice that'll be there. I'll probably get to fix this eventually. Just right now I have, you really can't tell from a distance, so it's not like top of my priority list. But you can make any paint look pretty good if you take your time with it, spray paint at least. This was another helmet I finished, and you can see how glossy it came out. This thing came out great. I might be shooting myself in the foot here. I might actually be giving this. I might give this away on my in my Instagram. I'm thinking if I can keep grinding to like 10,000 or something, I might give this away once I hit that, because it's too small for anybody to wear. Like it's way too small for my head. It printed it. It messed up the scaling, but it came out kind of nice, so I decided to finish it as a display piece. And I'm going to put the LED eyes in it, and the mask does come off, so if you're like a really small child, this might fit you. But I think I'm going to give this away at some point or another. And this is all just spray paint, and I buff and polish it when I'm done. So after clear coat and top coat, I'll actually take automotive buffers and like compound and car wax and polish, and I'll polish the paint. And that's how I'm getting this nice shine, and it also helps protect it a little bit more from scratches. So this is a very hard shell, and you can see a nice reflection in it, and actually it collects dust that wipes away. Yeah, I want to do a battle damage helmet. I'm trying to find somebody who will like hire me for a commission, who like wants to buy a helmet but wants a battle damage one, because I've told a couple of them, but like everybody wants like a nice clean looking helmet. They don't want to pay for something that looks broken. Maybe that really bad helmet, the first one I printed. Maybe I'll do this in like a War Machine kind of battle design thing. I don't know yet. I don't think I'm ever gonna finish this thing. It just looks terrible. Yeah, so that guy. We'll put that there. Stay. So the reason this keeps flicking and flashing is because there's little magnetic contacts that are kind of like not together all the way. Let's see. The other thing I wanted to show. All right, questions. Go. Speed round. Go. Blah blah blah. Go. questions. All 24 of you who still find me interesting for some reason or another. But man, do I like talking about 3D printing. Let me tell you what. I'm glad you said minimize supports, because that is always what I strive for. The lowest amount of supports. So most helmets I've ever seen are cut at least into 3 pieces. It'll be the main dome part, usually the jaw, and depending on how far the jaw comes back, that depends on the maker. Like DO3D's helmets right here, the jaw, as you saw when I took the helmet off before, the jaw part covered my ears, but then the helmet on Thingiverse, the jaw connects underneath the ear. So I'll basically always print them standing up like this. I'll make a bowl. And if you make a bowl, you won't really need supports to support the insides. And then you just have to kind of fill and bondo in the back of it. If there actually is any damage from the support, it's just the back smooth part you have to worry about. And then I'll print the mask, the faceplate standing straight up. I'll print the jaw as as vertically as possible. Like I won't stand the jaw up, but I'll make it so like the actual jaw shape is standing straight up. And tree supports, just use tree supports. Oh my God, use tree supports, please. They are just incredible. Like they have saved me so much time, and the parts break away. It's great. I don't know if I'm going to be doing any other suits. I'm still not decided on that. I don't have a lot of room, and we move a lot. So just having this one suit is already kind of like a little bit of a space taker. If we when we move again, we're going to be very limited on space. So I'd love to do a Mark III, or I'm a sucker for the Mark 39 Gemini Star Boost. It's an all white suit. It's what people kept mistaking my suit for when it was in the primer white stage. People kept asking like, "Oh, is that the paint scheme you're doing?" And I love white mecha and white suits and armor, so I don't really know what I'm gonna do next. I'd like to do an original Mark III because it's like his first and last combat suit. You know, I'd have the first Iron Man suit that was like battle ready, and then his last one, Mark 85. So there's So this is my other pride and joy. Came unplugged. Yep, that's what I get. Can't wait to watch this later. This was the favorite thing I did.
Nice.
So when I go for that little snap pose, it lights up.
Yeah.
And then the reactor still works.
Ah!
Wow.
Nice. You really spend a lot of time on that.
Wow.
All right, let's see. We'll put this back over here.
So anyone have question? Maybe you can check the comment and see that there's some question with that. So someone Irvin said that do you have the chance to make a video about the thermistor that shut the power off?
Yep. Yeah. I'm going to. I'll make a video and kind of cover all that. Just my whole hardware setup. And there's a lot of videos I want to do. I've taken a lot of not hobbies, but like little things I've learned from like working on cars and even like Gundam models to bring them over to this hobby, like how I resin cast the stones for this, because these were 3D printed within reverse resin cast to make them clear and glow. So that's something I learned just doing from working on cars and stuff. All the wiring I've been doing, just a lot of stuff like that that I want to get more detailed into. But between working on the suit, I don't have time for the tutorials right now. So once the suit's done, and all I'll be doing is like Comic Cons and events, I'll have time to actually come home and like work on more tutorials and stuff. Because I really do want to like share that stuff with you guys. There seems to be there's a lack of I don't know. I don't want to say willing. There's so many people willing to like help and share with everybody. But I think I came from such a drastically different hobby that I have a little bit of a different view on how to do some things. Like when I was trying to figure out how to motorize the helmet to open and close, everything was saying Arduino, program, PCB, microcontroller, and I don't know how to use Arduinos, and I didn't want to learn. It just figured I can make this work with DC circuitry. And after some tinkering, I did. So I think sometimes you need to look at it from an outside perspective, and you might come up with different solutions for a problem you might have thought was hard, but wasn't. Like,
cool, nice.
Like this is the resin cast arc reactor, or not the arc reactor, the palm arc reactor. So this will be sanded down a little bit more, and then it'll go here in the palm to diffuse the light a little bit more. Because right now it looks kind of yellow, and you can see the LED board. But with that in there, once it's frosted, you won't be able to see it. It helps break up the light a lot more. And now it's stuck. I have to get this out later. Yeah, it's stuck in there now. Whatever. It ain't going anywhere.
Oh.
Cool. So, all right. Let's see. I was able to talk about sanding and post-processing and smoothing and infill and supports and slicing and a lot. We went over a lot of stuff, huh? For anybody else who's still watching, right? 23. That's awesome. We got some good views, I think.
Wow.
I can answer some more questions if you guys want. Or it's been about an hour, and I think we're gonna start probably wrapping it up.
Yeah, and thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. No, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, so that's it for today. And thank you so much, Frank.
Thank you for having me and for letting me share this project that I'm so happy to work on.
Yeah, so I think more people have more question. Maybe we will do that next time.
Yeah, if you guys have any other questions or want to talk about anything else, message me or message them. They'll get in touch with me. I'm an open book. I love sharing this stuff. So. Yes.
If you guys are interested in this project, you also can contact Frank from the Instagram, Frankly Bill, right? And then, or maybe you can contact us or and so we contact him directly to get the details. And also me, we also need to do that project. Okay,
definitely.
So thank you so much. So see you next time.
Okay, thanks guys. Take it easy.